here, the host of Building a World-Class Business on Lee Pitts Live. She's the CEO of Steel Bleu. Welcome to Lee Pitts Live, Cotrenia.
Thank you for having me, Lee. I'm excited to be here.
I know people probably mess your name up sometimes. They call you Cotrenia, right?
They do. And until after the hurricane, I didn't correct them, but now I do.
After the hurricane?
Hurricane Katrina.
I'm
from Louisiana, so I started correcting people after that.
Speaking of Louisiana, You're from that area. People can get to know that about you as well, right?
That's
Talk
right,
about that.
Right. So I'm from north of the Lake Pontchartrain, which is about 40 minutes north of New Orleans. I'm born and raised there. Family's still there. It's a beautiful place.
Mm-hmm. And you built a reputation here in Southwest Florida with working with small, mid-sized, and large businesses. Tell us about your voyage there.
So I've been working with small businesses for 20 years. I started in Louisiana at the Chamber of Commerce and then moved to Naples and started working for their Chamber of Commerce in business and economic development. And about 6 years ago, I started my own business helping small businesses to grow and develop.
So you came on Lee Pitts Live a few months ago, and I said to myself, there goes another star. Got to get her on television. And then now we're going to be unveiling your new segment called Building a World-Class Business. Tell us about that title.
So this segment is just going to be geared towards entrepreneurs, helping them to take their business to the next level. We're going to be focusing in with interviews as well as tips and strategies to help businesses grow and develop.
How can people learn more about you? There's a website and phone number as well, right?
Yeah, so my website is steelbleu.com, STEELBLEU, like in French, back to my Louisiana roots. .com as well.
When we come back from the commercial break, you'll be sitting in my seat interviewing a guest. Tell us who your guest is going to be.
My guest today is Shalonda Washington. She is the permitting queen, and I tell you, you're going to be delighted to meet her.
Okay, we're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
That's Cotrenia, not Katrina. Remember that name is up in lights now. Cotrenia Hood, and her show is Building a World-Class Business on Lee Pitts Live. Steel Bleu CEO. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Building a World-Class Business. My name is Cotrenia Hood, and I'm the CEO of Steel Bleu. Steel Bleu is an executive and business coaching firm based here in Southwest Florida. I am excited that you are joining us for our very first show here on the Lee Pitts Live Show. This show is dedicated to entrepreneurs, and we are going to be helping you to take your business to the next level. Today's title is Pivot Under Pressure. We're going to talk about tips, strategies, and best practices for pivoting under pressure. And we know that so many businesses have had to pivot, have had pressure in 2020. So we welcome 2021 as strategies and tips for us to pivot under pressure. And I'm excited about my guest today because she has learned to master this pivot. Her name is Shalonda Washington. Her business is Reliable Permitting and BSS. She is the permitting queen. Welcome, Shalonda.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to hear your story. We're going to start by just telling us a little bit about what Reliable Permitting is and how long you've been in business.
Well, Reliable Permitting and BSS Inc. is, and the BSS, so everyone knows, because everyone always asks me, is Business Support Services. So we don't just run permits, we also support our customers' businesses. But we have been in business for 20 plus years. You're going to date me now. But 20 plus years, I started it right out of high school. And we provide permitting services for contractors, homeowners, title companies, banks, and we also help out a lot of realtors. That's becoming a big thing now too as well.
Oh, wow. Well, that's exciting. 20 years is a long time to be in business. And to start this business right out of high school must have been an exceptional opportunity. Tell us how you started out.
Well, actually, I did have other career goals. And because those goals were not going fast enough, and not being available at the time, I had to, again, figure out what I was going to do. So, ended up working at a construction site on a temp agency run. And then that led me to, seeing that I was good at it and people had a need for this service.
It's exciting to hear how you allowed something that you were really good at to meld well with your gift and take you to the next level. And here we are 20 years later, and here you're pivoting in the middle of a very exceptionally hard time. So tell me a little bit about the challenges your business faced and things that you did in order to pivot.
Well, like you said, there was a lot of pressure. And so we definitely had to pivot. We really didn't have a choice. But learning how to pivot under pressure, one of the things we had to do is we had to step back and assess the pandemic and see what was it doing. Because for a short period of time there, no one knew what was going on. And so we relied on the CDC to let us know what would be required and how we needed to pivot and what that was going to look like. And in that whole array, once they did solidify what that looked like, because in the beginning, everyone shut down. But then when they came back, they also deemed construction as essential, which means they couldn't do construction without their permits. So they needed us.
There's nothing like being needed, right? and I think that that's the challenge sometimes for businesses when it's time to pivot. You know, one of the things that we talk about a lot within Steel Bleu is that, you know, it's all about leadership. It's about good communication, and a good pivot needs reimagination. So I would like to talk about what inspired you and your team to like rise above this challenge and really step into what the next level looked like for you.
Wow. It forced us, I mean, it was a mindset, you know, and the mindset had to start with me. I could either look at this as, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And just sit and wait, or look at it as an opportunity to stand out, an opportunity to even show that we're able to even do more, that we have the ability to even change and adapt, even in a time such as this. And so it forced us, it inspired us to relook at, and our innovation just took off. Our creativity took off. So again, we had to discover new ways. The method the work didn't change, but the way we were doing business had to change. Yeah. So I had a choice of either stop or adapt and do it even better.
And I you know, one of the things you said is methodology. It's huge to have a process and a method to how you go about doing things. In a pivot, if you don't have a baseline, a foundation that's strong and that is solidified, then it's very difficult to make changes because everybody's all running around trying to figure out what's what. I also appreciate that you said we, and you keep continuing saying we, because I know that you understand how important your staff is. Human resources within a business is its greatest asset. And I want to talk about, how did you get your staff to buy in to this pivotal and critical time of change in your organization, you and your staff?
Well, one of the things is, you know, it's easy to sell vision and to sell, you know, your thoughts and ideas when when people can physically see you. And with the pandemic, you know, it kind of forced us to go more to a digital age and more, you know, electronic. So, and with our team members not during pandemic, some of them had to, you know, go home. So we kind of stopped for a while. So how do I still let them know, to have confidence in, I know what I'm doing and I'm going to make sure we adjust right? So, the communication, I had to be very strategic on how I communicated, being effective in that communication, making sure that I was sound, and assuring them as my employees that their role and what they were doing was super important. It was super important for them to know that their presence was going to be needed again. It was super important for our clients to know that you can trust us in this and that we have the ability to pivot. And so we had to use our social media platforms, even showing our employees numbers of what we project. You know, having a game plan was the biggest you know, forced to sell to them in my vision.
And did you find that your employees bought into the vision right away? I mean, it seems as from what I know for your business, you have a very close-knit organization. Your staff are like family, extended family to you. And so when you started to make these changes, these adaptions, did you have a challenge with them buying in, or were they bought in right away? And if so, why?
Well, they pretty much bought in quickly. When we faced this challenge, it forced us to really look at our processes. We had to change them. And so everything we were doing prior to COVID, we scratched all of it.
Wow.
It took us about 3 days to rewrite every single process in the office. And I literally called my employee on a Sunday, and they came in and met for us to show them this. And because it was laid out and it was strategized and they could see it, they bought in right then.
Yeah. Well, and so here we talk about this process and reimagining and repurposing. Businesses have had to do a lot of that, right? Mm-hmm. Offer their products and their services in a different way because the tapestry of the way we do business right now has changed. So let's talk about some of the changes that you've made in your organization as an attempt to pivot.
Well, one of the things is we took advantage of the time. I don't think I had no idle time. I just started thinking, what can I be doing now that's going to excel, not only benefit Reliable, but benefit the people that work for me that's depending on me. It's not just them, it's their families. So one of the things we did is we started doing branding. We changed our logo. We had to sell the fact that, okay, we had to connect the permit queen with Reliable because the name of the business is Reliable Permitting and it's not just me anymore. So there's a team. And how do I let the people know that this team is vital and that they are a part? So what we did is we did the R with the crown and we changed the colors. We utilized every social media platform. We determined whether we're going to do a video or if we're going to use bright colors. Whatever that was, we utilized that. And with our website, we totally scratched the one we had and we started brand new. And let me tell you that we know for a fact that kept us going and it pulled in new clients immediately.
That's awesome. I think that one of the things that, and I spoke about this earlier, communications, how you communicate both in your organization and outside of your organization is critical to a good pivot. A lot of businesses didn't tap into their website, to their offerings, to putting products and services online to let people know that what they had available. They had these one-on-one built relationships. And it sounds like you really figured out a way to communicate both to your staff and also to your client. And bravo to you for doing that because that is huge. I think that a lot of times businesses have fear or anxiety around pivoting and even communicating to their clients. How did you do that successfully? Get over the fear and anxiety of, oh my goodness, this is a lot of change for both us and our clients. We don't want to lose business, but we know it has to happen. What'd you do?
Wow, that's a good question. I'm going to say, and I have to say this because at the end of the day, being a small business, it goes back to who you are as a person. And I think it's just my life challenges. I've constantly had to pivot from being raised by my grandmother, growing up in the projects, and then shifting from there, being a teen mom, and then being a single mom, and then the prized career that I thought I was going to have, just accepting what was available because I had to provide and developing, survival instincts. So it was like a natural instinct. And then being in the business that I am in, being faced with, we work with building departments from Marco Island all the way to Inglewood and East Coast. So there are always changes. We experience a lot of brick walls in what we do. That's why people hire us. If there's a wall, we're there, we're knocking it down. We're helping them change policies and procedures. Building code change. We're in one right now. So it is just a natural instinct for me to pivot. It's a natural instinct to know how to do that in life. So we was already ahead of the curve. So we had already seen the shift to electronic permitting. So I had already begun to train my team. We were already ready. So it was just a natural thing to pivot. And then even though it was an electronic age, even when the pandemic came, we still had to re-look at that and say, is this the most effective way even to do it that way?
Yeah, and I hear you saying, pivoting under pressure requires preparation. And I'm excited that you have shared your story with us, that you've given us a look into how you have pivoted under pressure. I can't wait to continue to watch this journey with you, to be a part of this journey with you. If you need anything in the permitting world, the Permitting Queen is here for you. And I want to thank you for joining us today and building a world-class business. We hope that you enjoyed our segment and we look forward to seeing you next.